In Nepal, entire villages cling to cliffs thousands of meters above sea level, where a single landslide can erase a community overnight, where farmers pray to mountain gods before planting their crops, and where roads twist so dangerously through the Himalayas that some are rebuilt every single year. This is a country carved by the mountains, a place where survival isn't just about living with nature, but negotiating with it. Welcome to Nepal, life on the edge of the Himalayas. Hey everyone, welcome back to Adaptive Earth, where we explore how humans adapt to the planet's most extreme environments. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We bring the most interesting geographical stories and top 10s. The collision. Long before borders or maps, two tectonic plates collided here. The Indian plate drove north, forcing rock and sediment skyward until they rose as the Himalayas, the highest mountain range on Earth. But humans weren't supposed to live here. At these altitudes, oxygen is thin, winters are brutal, and the terrain is nearly vertical. Yet thousands of years ago, small groups, traders, herders, pilgrims, began carving out a life between the peaks. Ancient trade routes snaked across high passes, linking India, Tibet, and China. Along these paths grew the first settlements, resting points for yak caravans, centers for barter, sanctuaries for travelers braving the icy wind. This isolation forged something unique, a tapestry of cultures and faiths that blended Hinduism from the south with Tibetan Buddhism from the north. The mountains didn't just separate Nepal from the world, they protected it, shaped it, and gave rise to a civilization defined by balance. A balance between nature and survival, between danger and devotion. But life on the edge comes at a cost. The monsoon. Every summer, monsoon clouds roll in from the Indian Ocean, and Nepal transforms. For months, rain hammers the hillsides, swelling rivers and loosening slopes already weakened by deforestation and earthquakes. The numbers are staggering. Nepal experiences over 5,000 landslides annually during monsoon season. In a single devastating event in 2015, earthquakes triggered more than 3,000 landslides across the country, some burying entire villages in seconds. The results are catastrophic. Landslides that swallow villages, floods that cut off entire regions, crops that rot in the fields. In 2021, flash floods tore through the Millennia River Valley, destroying homes and bridges that had taken decades to build. In the Himalayas, time loops. Rebuild, destroy, rebuild. Then the dry season arrives. Water sources vanish. Whole communities migrate in search of pasture or work. In high-altitude villages, snowmelt is the only supply, and as glaciers retreat, those flows are dwindling. Climate change has made everything worse. Glacial lakes swell behind fragile ice dams, and when they burst, a glacial lake outburst flood, they unleash tsunamis of rock and water down the valleys. These aren't once-in-a-century events anymore. They're becoming the new normal. For the people of Nepal, nature's rhythm is both blessing and threat, generous yet unpredictable. And still, they endure. If you're enjoying this story of resilience, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who love these human stories. And let me know in the comments, could you live where the land shifts beneath your feet? The adaptation. For centuries, Nepalis have adapted in ways both ingenious and deeply spiritual. Take architecture. In the lowland Terai, homes are built with bamboo and mud, flexible enough to sway during floods or earthquakes. In the mountains, thick stone houses have flat roofs used to dry grain or collect snowmelt. Every design choice is a quiet negotiation with nature. Agriculture, too, is an act of adaptation. farmers carve terraced fields into mountain slopes, creating steps that prevent erosion and catch precious rainwater. Some terraces date back over 2,000 years. Ancient engineering still feeding families today. In places like Mustang, fields are carved at altitudes above 4,000 meters, where most crops simply refuse to grow. It's backbreaking work, but it transforms vertical land into farmland. Each terrace is a statement. We belong here. Then there's spirituality. In Nepal, religion isn't separate from the landscape. It is the landscape. Prayer flags flutter from every ridge, believed to carry blessings through the wind. Shrines dot the trails, honoring the spirits of mountains, rivers, and forests. For many, these aren't metaphors. The mountains are gods, living beings that watch, protect, and sometimes punish. Even infrastructure reflects this reality. Roads and bridges are rebuilt again and again, not from poor engineering, but because the land keeps moving. Nepal's engineers design with impermanence in mind, knowing nothing lasts forever in the Himalayas. And yet, this instability has created remarkable resilience. People don't just endure disasters, they prepare for them, rebuild faster, and rely on community over systems. Survival through solidarity. The crossroads. Today, Nepal stands at a crossroads. Tourism has opened the mountains to the world. Over 1.2 million tourists visited in 2019 alone, more than triple the number from a decade earlier. Everest trekkers, spiritual seekers, and adventurers flood in, bringing both opportunity and strain. Modernization has reached even the most remote valleys. Solar panels glint on rooftops that once only knew candlelight. Roads now connect villages to markets and hospitals. But modernization brings new challenges. Traditional lifestyles are disappearing. Young Nepalis leave for cities or foreign jobs. Ancient languages and customs fade with each generation. And yet, the connection to the mountains endures. In recent years, Nepal has become a global leader in community-based conservation. Local groups manage forests, rebuild after earthquakes, and adapt farming to shifting weather patterns. They've turned resilience into a national identity and adaptation into an art form. The meaning. The Himalayas are often seen as a symbol of grandeur, a playground for climbers, or a backdrop for postcards. But for millions of Nepalis, they are simply home. A place where life teeters on the edge, where every sunrise feels earned, and where people have learned not just to survive nature's extremes, but to find meaning within them. From the roaring monsoons to the whisper of prayer flags, Nepal is a living reminder that resilience isn't about defying nature. It's about dancing with it, step by step, generation after generation. If you found this inspiring, subscribe for more stories of how humans adapt to Earth's most extreme environments. Until then, this is Adaptive Earth, reminding you that every landscape tells a story, if you know how to listen.